started here. I'm Joe Brennan, President of the Northern Kentucky Sports Hall of Fame. Welcome to the annual summer meeting. It's always great to renew old friendships, to relive memories of our leaders of the past, and also welcome the new members to be included in our world of sports in Northern Kentucky. We're privileged tonight to have with us Jason French, the curator of the Barringer Crawford Museum, and he has on display a small exhibit of the sports memorabilia that's been donated by our members to the Museum for Preservation. That's in the back, and you can all look at it when you get a chance. There's one thing I'd like for anybody that can remember. We have a picture of a team back, I guess, in the 50s, WXIX, B-O-C-K-W-E-G, WXIX Tavern. I think it was in West Covington, down around 12th Street. We've got a picture of them with the members, but nobody can identify who the players were. So if anybody here played back in that era and think you can recognize it, I have a picture of it. I'd be glad to show you and see if you could pick out a name or two on it. One of our guests tonight is Mr. Cubby Lyons. Cubby, where are you at? Okay, right there. Yeah, Cubby was one of the players that played on the first Villa Madonna baseball team. And I have a picture of him at home that he gave me with my brother Dick, who's the second baseman on the same team. And Cubby was crossing home plate at the old 15th and Eastern ball field when he hit a home run. And you could tell it's 15th and Eastern because you could see the trestle over the back of it. Cubby went on to play for the Boston Red Sox. He was also a bullpen catcher for the Reds for 10 years during Sparky Anderson's time as the manager of the Reds. He warmed up Ewell Blackwell prior to pitching his no-hitter. And Cubby has donated stuff to the museum. The Boston Red Sox jacket is back there, and we have pictures of Cubby and that, so if you have a chance to look at them. And Cubby, thanks for coming. Also in attendance is Mr. Perry Thacker. Perry, where are you at? Over here. Perry's the head of the Cincinnati Reds Speaker Bureau. He's also coordinator of the Red Stockings old-timer baseball team. He's here today to honor Mr. Rodney Hamilton, which we're inducting, shortly giving him the award. And he also was kind enough to bring some posters back there, and he bought enough to give each person here one of them. It's from some of the Reds players and Hall of Fame and that. So thank you, Perry, for that. And I'd like to introduce our Hall of Fame members now. I'm Joe Brennan, the president. There's Randy Marks. He's the vice president. Kenny Shields is in the back with the light blue shirt on. He's the vice president and the MC at our meetings. John Wendifer is not here tonight. Jack Manager, and Jack's back there with the food. He was back serving food. John Gracious is up at the front door. Jack Ames, Denny Bowman, Bill Barnes, Tom Burns, Charlie Coleman's the treasurer. You all met him coming in, taking your money. Andy Furman, Dick Maley, and Dan Weber. And at this time, I'd like to make a presentation. Denny Bowman, where's Denny at? Denny, come up here. Denny's been running this summer reunion for about 10 years and does a great job. He also, for the past 10 years, has gotten at least 30 sponsors for our golf program every year. And this year, he was voted a Northern Kentucky Sports Hall of Fame Golf Classic Golfer of the Year, and presented to Denny Bowman. This was going to be awarded to Denny at the golf outing this year, but he unfortunately had to leave because he wasn't feeling well. So we present that to you tonight.
Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you all for being here tonight, too. You know, I was in politics for 30 years, and this is the best organization that I've ever worked with. Every one of these board members for the last, since 1982, right, Joe? And Joe's been president for 20 years. It's a great organization. I hope you all continue to support the organization, to continue to be here for all of our events and our induction meetings and everything. But I'll tell you what, we got over 1,000 members, and I'm just really pleased. But you know, being a politician, Joe said I could have 30 minutes to speak, and I won't do that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So we had a little technical problem this evening. Joe Danneman is our guest speaker, and he's the sports director of WXIX. He has interviewed one of our award winners, and he was going to play the interview that he had on TV. Unfortunately, we can't get the sound to play up here, so we're going to have to do it physically and work our way through it. So at this time, we go to the first award tonight. Is the Tom Perky Award. Tom initiated the idea of the Barringer Crawford Museum and our Hall of Fame presenting sports exhibits at the museum in 2004. Since that time, we have had 6 sports exhibits at the museum and about 10 of them away from the museum, like this evening here. And they keep and display all the donated historical memorabilia of our Hall of Fame. So if anybody's got anything from the old days back in your attic you want to get rid of, do not throw it in the garbage can, contact the museum. Tom Fricke never played sports. He was 17 years old when he got blinded in an accident. He was a student at Holy Cross, and coming home from school, how kids do, 2 or 3 of them were shoving each other, and they shoved him into a pile of bushes, and the bushes had thorns in it, and it blinded him in both eyes. He was a junior in high school. He not only finished high school, he went to college, Danneman College, and then he graduated from Xavier and went on to be a fixture in the Board of Education in Covington. He was elected to the board 2 to 3 times. He's on the Covington School Board. He was on the board of the Barringer Crawford Museum. And Tom always loved sports. I picked him up to go to our exhibits at the museum on the exhibits committee, and he's always talking about the Reds, the Bengals, whatever's on. He listened to them fervently. He knew every batting average, all the players. So when he passed away, we wanted to remember him, and we created an award to present each year to somebody that showed his qualities of the love of sports, even though they have a hard time trying to play themselves. So at this time, we'd like to introduce the winner this year is Rodney Hamilton. Rodney Hamilton played softball at Softball City, played on numerous teams, and played on 5 championship teams. He was a catcher for Farmers Bank and Drysdale Trucking, and also played with the ETP All-Stars. He played with the WUBE All-Stars. He also played with the Cincinnati Red Stockings Hall of Fame, that wear the vintage 1869 uniforms and play without gloves. He's been on this team since 2011. Rodney was a plumber, was injured in an accident in 2020 that resulted in losing his left leg. He committed himself to someday rejoining his Red Stocking teammates, and in 2023 he walked in uniform at the Reds opening day parade. He was also honored to be selected to throw out the first pitch at another Reds game this year with the Reds Hall of Famer Johnny Bench. At this time, I'd like to have Mr. Joe Danneman come up and talk and present the award.
So Rodney's story is the kind of story that when you do local TV, you want to tell people because it checks a lot of boxes. Look, we all love sports, but we also love human interest stories and people doing amazing things. Rodney's standing up, so I'll make it quick because I didn't want to get up here and talk, and man, can this guy talk. But the story came to me from Perry. Perry and I are friends. Perry works at the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame Museum, so whenever he comes across anything that might be of interest, he lets me know about it. He let me know about Rodney's story. And Perry's very much part of the motivation that led to this story happening, because when things like what happened to Rodney happen to people, you need friends and you need goals. And he had both. He had friends, he had family, and he had a goal to get himself back to walking in the opening day parade. So when the story was brought to me, I went over to his house and I sat down with him, and he warned me before I came over. He said, I'm kind of a big Johnny Bench fan. I'm like, oh sure, yeah, I'm a big Eric Davis fan. He's like, no. I'm a big Johnny Bench fan. You should see this guy's collection. If you can find the story, you can find it on my Facebook page. It's called A Walk to Remember, because what he did is so memorable with his walk on opening day, but you'll see some of the memorabilia behind him. But he's been such a great story to tell because it means so much to him, and it also rallied so many people to get this moment done for Rodney. So I think it's such a great thing that we're honoring him tonight, because his story isn't just about his leg. His story is about his friendship. His story is about having a goal. His story is also about one heck of a softball player that used to be, and a guy right now that still has more goals to attain. So presenting the Fricke Award to Mr. Rodney Hamilton, I'm very honored to be a part of it, and I can't wait to hear what he has to say about this moment tonight. Congratulations to Rodney.
Hello. I want to be honored to be here to receive this award. It means the world to me. I see people here that I know over here that's sitting around here that I play ball with, Jack Manager, a few others. But to meet Joe and have this story about what happened to me come out to this community is an honor that I've never dreamed I would have. I owe thanks to Perry. I owe thanks to the Reds organization, the Hall of Fame, Rick Walls, my friends from here on the vintage baseball team to watch this and come to help me. Dennis Hastings has been my right-hand man, pushed me with my wheelchair. But then when Joe got the story and we started all this, it opened a door that I never dreamed of. And now what we're after with Perry, the help through the Reds, we want to get to the kids to say, if I can do it, here you go, let's see if you can do it. So that's what we're after. That's going to be the goal now. But the people I have to honor right now is my wife for standing with me for 25 years and not leaving me for everything else she possibly could. So I love you guys. I wouldn't be here without her. See, like I said, I have friends here that I've met over the years and played ball with, and it brings back so many memories. But to the gentleman that this award's over with, this means with his problems that he had and overcame is nothing compared to what I had. But this has been an honor. I thank you very much, and I will be any help I can. If anyone wants to get with the Reds and get me to the kids or whatever, I would be highly honored to do that. So thank you very much.
Joe and Randy, you want to come up here to get on the picture? Perry, any of you stocking players want to come up and get on the picture? His wife? Joe? Family? Yeah, we'll get up in front here.
I go, you go. Where's his wife? Yeah. She's coming. Here you go. Sorry, buddy. Okay. You in here? Sir.
Joe up here. He has agreed to be our guest speaker tonight, so we'll hear a few words of wisdom from him.
Wisdom. The guy who couldn't even figure out the audio who works in TV is going to have wisdom for everybody in the room, right? I do want to say again, congratulations to Rodney and Perry. And as someone who had a few physical and health issues myself, when I was away from work for 5 weeks, I had to miss 5 weeks of work for a health issue a few years back. Just having something every day to look forward to have a goal. Anybody who's been in this room who's had to go through something like that, just having that one little carrot every single day to get you going, to keep you going, is a big thing. So congratulations to Rodney, and congratulations to everybody at that table who helped him get done what he got done. He didn't just walk the opening day parade. He went back to the ballpark, dressed in the red stocking uniform, and threw another pitch, what I thought was just a great moment. I get goosebumps telling the story. Okay, so before we honor tonight's new inductees, I want to share a story. And one of the most important sporting events that I've ever covered happened this calendar year, when what happened with DeMar Hamlin happened over at the Bengal Stadium. And it was funny, that night, someone asked me when the night wound down at about 3 in the morning after being on TV for several hours talking about this international event that had happened in Cincinnati. Someone asked me, have you ever done anything like this before in your career? And unfortunately, I had. When I worked in Evansville, and that was my first real big break in the TV business, I got my first anchoring job in Evansville, Indiana at the NBC affiliate. You have to think about Evansville. It's not like Cincinnati where we have all these networks and all these radio stations and all these newspaper reporters. In Evansville, we were the #1 station and we were the #1 newsmaker. So if something important was happening, we had to be on it. So I was covering a basketball game. This was Kentucky Wesleyan against the University of Southern Indiana, Division II rivalry. I mean, this was like the crosstown shootout for Evansville. So I was going to be there that night to cover the game. Real big deal. Both top 10 teams in Division II, sold out crowd, couldn't wait to cover it. So I'm at the game, and I'm on the baseline, and I'm sure a lot of people in this room see me out covering events all the time. I shoot my own stuff. So I had the camera on my shoulder, I'm on the baseline. There's about a minute to go in the first half, and my battery's on critical, so I'm done. I got everything I need for the first half. I'm going to go back into the back and start to work on editing stuff for the late show and get a new battery for the second half. As I'm walking on the baseline, you know when you can kind of sense something, that gasp in a crowd? Well, one of the players for the University of Southern Indiana had collapsed on the court, and the whole crowd gasped. So I immediately go back to work. And this is a tough situation here because there's a guy on the ground who had collapsed, and you're a news agency, you're media, so you got to get the story, but also at the same time, you're a human being. And that'll be the point of this story tonight, that there are so many great athletes in here and so many important people who have done important things in athletics in Northern Kentucky. But I think we're also honoring great people tonight. And I think it's important to remember you have to be a human being in these situations. So I'm trying to balance this, right, of being a journalist, but also at the same time being a human being. And honoring this guy, respecting this guy who's on the floor right now in a medical moment that we don't know what's happening to him. So I get a few shots. People are yelling at me, telling me I'm disrespectful for getting the shot. I'm trying to tell them I'm getting them, not with plans to use them, but just have them just in case. So he is stabilized for what I think. He is put onto a stretcher, and they take him out of a tunnel. And I don't know what it was. It was somewhat of an instinct that told me just to follow it back, to follow the stretcher back and see what happens as they put him in the ambulance, just so I have all the information I can talk about later that night, because this is now a big deal. I'm not just covering a basketball game, I'm covering a big event here, a news story. And so the game goes back on. They believe he's stabilized. They believe he's okay. I go back to follow it. They put him into the ambulance. Everything seems fine. The paramedics and the first responders are not in a rush. They seem to have everything under control. The ambulance goes to leave the stadium, the arena, and about 5 seconds after it takes off, it stops. The doors fly open, and they start screaming for people to come help. And just at that moment, I know something's really wrong. And I can see them working on him very aggressively in the back of the ambulance. So here it is, about 8:30 at night, I go on at 10 o'clock, and I'm the only person inside this arena that knows this is happening. Everybody back playing the basketball game thinks he's okay. He's going to go to the hospital, they're going to take care of him, they're going to stabilize him, he's going to be back. I know something everybody else doesn't know. So 8:30 becomes 9 o'clock. The game ends, I interview the coach, I interviewed the players. His team won. They were in a great mood. They won the big rivalry game. They don't know anything that had happened to Jerron. His name was Jerron Lewis. And so they go back in the locker room. It's 9:15. It's 9:30. I go on at 10 o'clock. I'm calling the station, tell them the information I have. I don't know what's going on. Do you have an update from the hospital? Hospital's not saying anything. The team's gone inside the locker room. So after about 10 minutes pass, it's 9:40. It's 9:45. I'm on at 10 o'clock. I see the team start leaving the locker room. And everybody coming from this locker room is crying. And you can tell body language. You know this team has been informed the worst news possible, that their former teammate had passed away. So here it is, 9:45, 9:47, 9:48. I'm on at 10 o'clock. What do I do with this story? So I walk up to the sports information director of University of Southern Indiana. His name was Ray. I knew Ray for a couple of years. And I say, Ray, here's what I know, here's what I saw, here's what I saw from the team. Is Jerron dead? He says he is, but we have not informed his family. You can do with that information what you please. They get on the bus and they leave. It's 9:51, it's 9:52. I have this story in my back pocket. What do? You're a journalist, but you're a human being. It's 9:53, it's 9:54. I'm sweating, I'm nervous, I'm young, I don't know what to do in this situation. 9:56, it's 9:57. It comes to the 10 o'clock show, and at this point, you're on the air and you get one take. You gotta do it right the first time. It's live TV. I don't know what I'm going to do as I go on the air. So they toss it to me. At this point, everybody who was covering the game had reported that Jerron had collapsed, he left in the hospital, and at that point, that's all we knew as far as the information. But I knew in the back of my mind what had happened to him. So I decided not to report it. I didn't report it. I told him everything I saw, everything I knew, everything the university had told me, but I did not report it because I didn't think that was the right thing to do. Was that the right thing to do as a journalist? Probably not. I don't think it was. In fact, I know it wasn't, and I worried about that. And so I did my report, I finished the report. I was pretty shaken up. Young guy, story like this, never dealt with anything. I got into sports because I didn't want to deal with that. Like, I wanted to go to journalism, but I wanted to do the fun stuff. I wanted to cover good stories, people doing amazing things like Rodney. I didn't want to cover people dying on a basketball court. So I finished my report, and about 10:03, I get a call from Ray, the sports information director. He had called me. He said, I watched your report. I thought what you did was first class and stand up. We have informed the family. You can now go with the story. So I called back to the station. I said, you got to come back to me immediately. They said, why? I said, because I now have it confirmed and feel comfortable going with that Jerron has passed away. So they came back to me. I reported the story. And after the show was done, I drove back to the station. And I was really, really nervous about how I was going to be received. Did they know that I knew and didn't report? I knew in the back of my mind what I didn't do. When I walked into the station, I got a standing ovation from everybody still there. To this day, it's still my favorite moment in this business. That I could see a group of journalists and people who put humanity above the job. And I think sometimes that's a hard thing to do, especially in our business. We see some tough things. We deal with a lot of tough things. But I still think the fact that we can lean on our humanity and understand that it's important to be a good person first instead of being good at whatever it is you do second. And I think tonight, from the people that I know that are being inducted into the Hall of Fame, they're not just great at what they do, they're great people. That's how you get to a moment like this. You become a Hall of Fame person. You become a Hall of Fame person not just because you're good at what you do, because you're a good person. So I want to congratulate everybody here, but I also don't want to bring the evening down completely, so I'm going to give you a good zinger here at the end. So I was sitting in this room. This must have been, 12 years ago. I'm trying to think when my oldest brother went into the Cub Cath Hall of Fame. I went to Cub Cath. And so now I'm the MC of the Cub Cath Hall of Fame, and you can ask Tony Baccialupo why. I think he would tell you, just because my price is right. No, I love doing it for Cub Cath because I love this place, and it's a big reason why I leaned on my humanity. I think is because of the values I've taken from where I went to high school, and the values from my region, which is Northern Kentucky, and I'm very proud to be from. That's who we are. That's what we're about. And I think the values we have, I think, came through in that night for me. But I was sitting in this room, my oldest brother went to the Hall of Fame, great baseball player, great football player, and we're sitting at a table right here. Y'all remember Jeff Pecoro? Y'all remember Jeff Pecoro? He used to do Reds games. Yeah, he now works, he does football games for UK. He now works in Lexington and TV. And Jeff Pecoro was the MC that night. He's got this paper here, and he's going all through my oldest brother Jim's accolades, what he did in baseball, what he did in football. Then he stops, looks at me, and goes, "Dang, Joe, what the hell happened to you?" I said, "Now wait a minute, Jeff." I didn't say this then, but I did know in the back of my mind that at Cub Cath, I have the distinction of being the first and only most valuable JV cross-country runner as a senior. You guys got that one. Usually it takes people a second time to remind them. Think about that. As a senior, I was the most valuable JV runner. I like to say it's only because I had so much talent around me. We had a ton of talent that I had to be forced to run at the JV races when I was at Cub Cath. But yeah, that was my claim to fame, and the closest I'll ever be in the Hall of Fame was being made fun of by Jeff Pecoro when my brother was being inducted into the Hall of Fame at Cub Cath. Congratulations to everybody here tonight being inducted, on being great at what you do and being great people. I think that's the most important, and congratulations. Thanks.
Thank you, Joe. Joe's not only been a guest speaker for the Covington Catholic Hall of Fame, he's been a frequent speaker at our events and has always supported us. So for this, we are going to surprise him tonight. And Joe Danneman, you will be elected into our Hall of Fame. Here's where his plaque reads, and he'll be inducted. He was a graduate of Covington Catholic High School in 1998. He was a member of the cross-country team at Covington Catholic High. He graduated from Syracuse University in 2001. He completed this in 3 years.
What the heck? Aren't you on vacation? Tomorrow.
He completed this in 3 years and started broadcasting at Fox News as a news writer. He worked his way up to news producer, sports producer, and eventually sports news reporter in 2004. He then worked as a sports director for WFIE TV in Evansville, where in addition to anchoring and reporting, he got his first professional experience calling live sporting events. Some of his career highlights include covering Super Bowls, 2 national championship college football games, NCAA Division II College World Series. He also covered Major League Baseball's opening day, national NFL playoffs, NCAA tournament games, and dozens of state championship high school games in Ohio, and he's always gladly showed up at all of our events. Please welcome Joe Danneman. Joe's family, please come up and get the picture.
So this is Jim, who I was talking about, who's in the Cub Cath Hall of Fame tonight. You guys are. There you go, my gosh.
Congratulations, Dave.
Thank you. Let's get a nice one. You knew the whole time? Unbelievable. Thank you. Thank you. Hold on.
That was cute.
Thank you. Unbelievable. Thank you guys very much.
Our next award is James Tiny Stephen Humanitarian Award. Tiny was inducted in both Covenant Catholic Hall of Fame and the Northern Kentucky Sports Hall of Fame. He was on our board of directors and instrumental in the success of our golf outings and summer scholarship programs. Tiny was always ready to help those in need and never had to be asked twice. The 2023 award will be presented to Bill Brahms. Bill served on the board of the Big Steph Foundation for over 30 years that provided food and services to senior citizens and the less fortunate in Campbell County, and they raised over millions of dollars. Bill is also a 50-year member of the Bellevue Vets. He was involved with our sports programs as well as maintaining the sports fields. He provides service to Perry's Kitchen, St. Bernard's in Dayton, Kentucky, and the Holy Spirit Church in Newport, Kentucky. Bill was inducted in the Kentucky Veterans Hall of Fame in 2023, and he also provides storage facilities and transportations to set up their events as well as our Hall of Fame events. Would you please welcome Bill Brahms.
Thank you very much.
I'm overwhelmed, and this is a pretty tough act to follow. But, if anybody knew Tiny Stephen, he was always in all of our events, and he always had time to spend his own money to help our events and feed our families. And I had one last thing to say, and I'm going to get over next to Joe. Joe, what a great name. Anyway, God bless all of you, and God bless America.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you.
Our next award is the Bill Capel Volunteerism Award. Bill was one of the founding members of our Hall of Fame, and if you look back on the back tables there, you'll see a lot of the awards and stuff that he's won over the years. And he was also in the Kentucky Veterans Hall of Fame. He was a captain of the world champions Big-Car Covington Boosters in 1939. They were the first team to win a national championship in the state of Kentucky. He co-founded the New York Northern Kentucky Umpires Association, and the sports complex at 43rd Street in Covington was named in his honor. He was inducted in the Cincinnati Hall of Fame, the Northern Kentucky Hall of Fame, and the Kentucky Veterans Hall of Fame. The award in 2023 will be presented to Dave Eplin, and to present the award, welcome John Gracious, our board member. John served with Dave for over 30 years on District 28 Knothole baseball. You want to take it, John?
Yeah, Dave and I started out at Knothole baseball over 30 years ago, and about 15 years ago we started crosstown baseball because Dave decided that all the kids should be able to play, not just the ones that are good and tried out and made the team. It should be anybody that tries to play the game. We started crosstown baseball. Dave took over the umpires like he had when he was with Knothole baseball. Dave was in charge of the umpires. Crosstown baseball, Dave was in charge of the umpires. new umpires. He has school every year for 5 different days in his school to teach what you needed to know to umpire a game. Dave passed away a little over a month ago, and here to receive the award is his son Dave.
Randy Marsh said he'd like to say a few words too. Hey, Randy.
I know exactly what Dave went through. My dad was a Kent County supervisor for years before Dave took over, and he gave people opportunities to go on with their life. My dad did with me. Kent County not all gave me a chance to start umpiring. Who would know that starting of umpiring gave me a chance to go to the minor leagues, to get to the big leagues, and umpire in the big leagues for 30 years. It was the start of my life, start of my career, and it was because people like Dave gave young people that opportunity. They made them realize that everybody can't be a ball player, but you can be a very important person on that field by being the umpire on the field and make sure that the game is being played fairly for both sides. So we're very proud of your dad and what he did, okay? And you should be, and congratulations on tonight.
Joe? There you go. Hey, Beth.
Oh, yeah, I know where you did. I know, and that's true.
That's true, you're right.
Yeah.
Our next award is the Pat Scott Achievement Award. Pat was born in Walton, Kentucky, and attended St. Henry's High School and later University of Kentucky. She excelled in basketball, volleyball, field hockey, softball, and baseball. In 1951, she became a pitcher for the Fort Wayne Daisies, managed by the legendary manager Jimmy Fox. The team and the league were immortalized in the 1992 film, A League of Their Own. Pat was chosen to authenticate the history of the story and would meet all the actors and actresses involved. She was also inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown in 1989. She was elected into the Northern Kentucky Sports Hall of Fame in October 1984 and was the first woman of the Board of Directors of our Hall of Fame in 1985. Receiving this award this year will be Jane Myers for her outstanding achievement of coaching women's basketball 1978 to 2009, and later as NKU's athletic director for 21 years. She was the first woman to be named athletic director at a Kentucky public university. Jane also managed and supervised 36 administrative staff and coaches. NKU won 61 conference championships, 20 NCAA regional championships, and made 13 trips to the Final Four, 5 championship game appearances, and they won 2 national championships under her leadership. She's the only coach to lead 3 different sports with national rankings and national tournament appearances in basketball, volleyball, and softball. She's received 5 national leadership awards, including Administrator of the Year by the Women's Basketball Association and the 2011 NCAA Division II Athletic Directors Association Lifetime Achievement Award. Jane is also a member of 10 Hall of Fames. Would you please welcome Jane Myers.
We're in the cheap seats.
Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you for being willing to serve as the MC this evening, besides serving as the president for the last 20 years. This guy's multi-talented, if you haven't noticed. You're awesome. To the other award winners, congratulations on your well-deserved honor. It's a privilege to be a part of the same program with you this evening. Thank you to Joe Brennan and the Northern Kentucky Sports Hall of Fame and the nominating committee for my selection to receive the Pat Scott Lifetime Achievement Award. Thank you also to the sponsors and to Denny Bauman and all those responsible for making the summer reunion and awards night event a success, because it truly is. Opportunities, we're all given them. Pat Scott was provided a very rare opportunity to play in the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League in 1948 to 1953. Just think about that. Just think. Title IX didn't pass until 1972. I mean, it's incredible. And it led to many other significant opportunities in her impressive life. Fortunately, in my life, I've had plenty of opportunities because of my family and also because of women and men who were pioneers for girls and women in sports. My mom and dad gave me and my sisters and brothers many opportunities in our lives, particularly in education, in business, and also playing sports and having hobbies. I know it wasn't easy. They had 8 children to raise and provide for, but they made it look easy. Without our mom and dad support morally and financially and showing us what's important in life, we would not have had quality lives. We were given so much more than most are given. My family here tonight is my husband, Steve, who I met at NKU, and we've been married for 41, I think, happy years. I'm not sure, but I think so. We have a son, sorry, Steve. We have a son, Matt, and he's married to Allison, and both of those are NKU graduates, and they have a daughter, Alexis, and a son, Calvin. Also with us tonight is my sister Jenny and her husband Brian, my brother Bill and his wife Kim, and their son Dustin, and my brother Tim and his wife Vicki. Hi there, Dustin, I see you. I'm very fortunate to have my family as part of my life. My first competitive experiences were the swim team at the Covington YMCA. When I was 9 years old, it was not the YWCA, it was the YMCA, and also the Brookwood Swim Club. Playing tennis in tournaments, including the Cincinnati Met, and also slow pitch softball. There were no volleyball or basketball leagues in grade school for girls when I was there in grade school. But thankfully our church, actually St. Pius Church, sponsored a girls softball team during the summer. So we played 7th and 8th grade slow pitch softball. It was a great experience. There were limited state championships for girls in high school. There were no athletic scholarships available to play in college, and I was a pre-Title IX athlete, but it did not negatively affect the opportunities I was provided. My opportunity to attend St. Pius X, Villa Madonna Academy, College of Mount St. Joseph, and Eastern Kentucky University, and to work at Notre Dame Academy, Northern Michigan University, and Northern Kentucky University was a true blessing. My teachers, coaches, administrators, and co-workers were excellent and influenced my high school and college playing career and coaching career and professional career. They were the pioneers providing opportunities to play at the high school and college levels and to coach and serve as an athletic director. And I have just a few more comments, I'm sorry. In 1978, Marilyn Scroggins-Moore asked if I would be interested in coaching volleyball and slow pitch softball at NKU. It was an opportunity to return home. I worked at NKU with very accomplished student athletes, coaches, professionals, but also great people, first-class people and coaches. To name a few, Jim Claypool, who actually was responsible for starting the athletic program at Northern Kentucky University. Pretty impressive. Rick Myers and Danny Weber were responsible for, the sports information piece. I didn't have a chance to work with Danny Weber, but I did with Rick. It was first class. And then there's also Kenny Shields. I think you all know Kenny Shields back there. And if you've never had a chance to work with him, You need to. He's an incredible human being, not only a great coach, but also a great person. And I will say we, and I emphasize we spent a lot of time together working towards the success of NKU's athletic program. We helped lay the groundwork for the NKU athletics program of today. In closing, I am here tonight because of others. The opportunity to have lived and worked in Northern Kentucky almost my entire life, and to have benefited from the opportunities to work in a profession not typically available for women. It is extra special for me to be awarded the Pat Scott Lifetime Achievement Award. I deeply appreciate the recognition today. Thank you.
Will the family please come up and get on the picture with her?
They told me they would. I'm volunteering. You can take a picture for me. I was standing here outside. Thank you for doing it.
Sure. Are you going to be up there?
Thank you.
This way.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, last but not least, we have the Jim Claypool Award. It's a Pioneer Award. Jim founded the athletic programs at NKU in 1970. He was Dean of Students and the Athletic Committee Chairman for 12 years. He insisted that the women's athletes receive scholarships from sports programs from the onset. Jim also started the Steele Library at NKU and the Presidential Scholarship Programs. These scholarship programs have awarded 2 or more scholarships a year to 38 high schools in Northern Kentucky. This means that over 4,000 scholarships have been awarded to date. Jim has been inducted in the Northern Kentucky Sports Hall of Fame and the Kentucky Veterans Hall of Fame. Jim, will you please come up and present this award?
Well, good evening, everybody. Jane, you can be my setup man anytime. I have a very special honor tonight. We're going to focus upon a deserving recipient of the second James Claypool Pioneer Award, Terry Connor. Terry Connor was an athlete, played baseball. He was a coach, coached at Bishop Brossard and Dixie, and also at Thomas More. But he found his moment of truth when he became the athletic director at Thomas More. They turned him loose and he hadn't stopped since. In his first season, which was 2000, he started 13 new sports, plus dance and cheerleading. He innovated improvements, and these are his trademark, innovation and improvements, by adding a lacrosse field, a softball field, a track, plus in 2008, Griffin Plaza, which houses football offices, officials' lockers, a press box, and a concession stand. He also created a partnership with Florence Yall, in which, starting in 2023, Thomas More and they worked together. Now they're getting ready to put in a sports bar there. I asked Terry if that was his sports bar, and he said, no, it's just our name. But if I were a betting man, I'd say he'll be in it. And I would say also that a lot of people wearing blue and white, and maybe even gold and white, will partake of that opportunity. I want to tell you a little something about his accomplishments. He has 4 team national championships. 4. He has 1 individual national champion. He has 91 national tournament appearances, 17 individual national qualifiers as the athletic director, 65 conference tournament championships, 66 conference regular season championships, and more to come. In conclusion, Terry Connor is a man of vision, a man of integrity, and a man of accomplishments, and certainly a deserving recipient of the second award that is named after me. Terry, please come forward.
Said he was trying to find some stuff on me, so he really looked up some stuff there. And I'm the last guy, so that's pressure. Everybody wants to get out of here. So, Joe, when you mentioned Cubby before, I had a chance to sit with Cubby down in his basement. I could have stayed there a week listening to all his stories and everything. It's absolutely incredible. I'd like to thank James. I'd like to thank you and the board for having selected me for this award. When I started reading your bio and reading the history on you, talk about impressive. Wow, that was it was incredible. So this is such an honor for me, and I thank you for that. I want to congratulate the other award winners. Jane Meyer, what a wonderful lady. She has helped guide me from the day I started at Thomas More. Her influence, her friendship has meant a great deal to me, and I wouldn't be able to do what I do without what she did for me when I started out. So thank you for that, Jane. I'd like to thank my family. You know, time away is, as you all know, being in sports, being away from your family is pretty significant. So I want to thank my daughter Jaylee. She's a teacher up at St. Vivian in Finneytown. My son Braden, who's decided to go into this crazy life, and he's on Pat Kelsey's staff down at the College of Charleston. My wife, 29 years of marriage, and so she's seen a game or two in those 29 years, and so I want to thank her for that support. It's really awesome. When I started at Thomas More, you know, my goal was to build on what my father had started. You know, and he came behind, you know, Jim Wire, who was there, and Dad got some things going, and I really wanted to build upon that. So I really stunk as a coach. I fired myself and became the AD. So I thought that was a great move on my part. So we did that, and I think we had around 12 or 14 sports when I started. We're currently at 31 programs. We have over 800 student athletes. We've been Division III, NAI, and now we're transitioning to Division II. This will be our first full year competing on a Division II level, so hopefully filling that void that Northern left when they went Division I. Hopefully we can fill that regional void of that D2, so that's what we're hoping to do. Had a lot of great coaches in my time there with Jeff Hetzer, all-time winningest baseball coach, and you know, that ain't easy to say because he passed up my dad on that one, so, but you know, still did a great job for us. Jeff Hands, who came to us from Northern. The guy's lost like 25 games in 14 years. What he's done has been incredible. He played in every national championship game when we went NEI. From D3 to NEI, he played in every, and we were only there 4 years. He played in 3 national championships. One got canceled because of COVID, of course. But what he's done is just absolutely amazing. There's been a lot of other great coaches along the way. Our current president, Joe Chillo, has been very supportive and was instrumental in telling me looked at me and said, he came from up in Boston. He looked at me and said, what is NEI? I tried to explain it to him, and he looked at me and goes, we're going Division II, so start preparing. I was like, yes, sir. So that's what we started doing. But again, thank you for this honor. James, thank you. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your example, and hopefully I can continue on that. Thank you.
James Guest, want to come up and get on a group picture with him? Step up in front. we're getting towards the end of our program. A few things we'd like to clear up before we get to our door prizes and split the pot. Joe Danneman, this is for all you done Certificate of Merit for showing up for Covington Catholic Sports Hall of Fames, our Hall of Fames, and everything. This is another award we'd like to give to you. And, Randy Marsh, would you like to say a few words? Randy's our Vice President. And when he gets done, I'll take the phone back to Kenny Shields. He's the Vice President.
Wasn't expecting to, but I can always jump in here. This organization, my dad was one of the original founders, and so this organization means a lot to me. Joe and some of the guys asked me to get on the board, which now I'm retired from umpiring. I still cover the Reds games for Major League Baseball, but got a lot of time on my hands, and hopefully I can help out. They said they wanted to get some younger people on the board. I said, I'm going to be 75. I don't know how much younger you're getting, but I am enjoying being with these guys, and hopefully that everything will continue to grow. These guys, Joe Brennan has been the person to carry the flag for over 20 years in this position. And he's been there day in, day out, been there with every event that we've had, stayed there thick or thin, and Joe will be forever grateful to you. He's talked me into take over his position the first of the year, so I think that's what's going to be happening. I don't think I have any choice in this matter, according to Joe and the guys on the board. But they still have a few, but some other guys on our board, I think one guy's 86, one's 91, so I guess I am a little bit younger. But please continue to support this. It's a good way to recognize your friends, your family, for something they did good when they were young, some sport that they were involved in. He didn't have to be the winning team or the guy that won everything, but he put forth the effort to play and hold up his end of the deal as being on the team. I appreciate this, and thank you for being here tonight. And Joe, I'll turn this back over to you, buddy.
Yeah, we'll let Joe say a few words after we put him through all of his torture.
I do want to ask if anybody has a list of all the Hall of Famers. Is Jack Kalin in the Hall of Fame? He is, yeah. Thumbs up. Okay, quick story about Jack Kalin. Okay, this will be a good story to end the night. So it's my senior year. We are ranked #1 in the state in cross country. Not because of me, I was on the JV team, right? We all remember that. We're ranked #1 in the state. Trinity was our big rival. We had raced Trinity earlier in the year. We beat them. Then we lost to them 2 weeks before the state meet. They always did this preview of state meet. They called it the Meet of Champs. We went to the Meet of Champs, then you did region, then you did state. We lost to Trinity at the Meet of Champs where we ran the state meet. So it's day of race. It's us or them. Who's going to win state that day? Jack Kalin, Father Time, Mr. Kalin, the most ironic cross-country coach of all time, Jack Kalin. He brings us all into this Big Ten, okay? So I ran well enough on the JV team, surprisingly, that I ran varsity on the state day. So there we were. He told everybody inside the tent to close your eyes. So we all close our eyes. He starts making this speech, the great speech, straight out of Hoosiers, about how we're going to go win. And he keeps saying, remember that sour taste you have in your mouth from losing to Trinity 2 weeks. And then, boom, you get hit in the face with something. I'm like, what just hit me in the face? And I'm like, why does it taste like a lemon? He's like, don't open your eyes. Don't open. He's giving a speech. And he said, just remember that sour taste. Now open your eyes. I put lemons all over your face. When you're running and you taste that sour taste, you remember that sour taste from 2 weeks ago. Turns out when we're running, we're all going, Mr. Kalin, we got lemon seeds in our throat. Needless to say, we finished second. Not because of that. Trinity was better that day, but
God bless Jack Kalin, and yeah, I just wanted to make sure we all left tonight on a good laugh. So thanks again. I was floored by everything tonight. Just to be amongst this group is outstanding. So thanks again for having me.